Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hotel Dropouts. Today we will be talking briefly about some of the games we've been playing. I have been slaving over Kingdom Come Deliverance, and Dan has been playing a lot of Arc Raiders. So hopefully this will bring some insight into the into the games that us, old millennials play. And yeah, it's
Hello,
crazy.
everyone.
It's crazy, right, Dan? Like, to think that we are now old gamers. Like, we don't
Yeah,
relate to it. It felt like it was only a couple years ago when young people were just, it was all just Minecraft and Fortnite, and that was the gaming world for the young. But apparently nowadays it's varied, and they play a lot more indie games. And it's just us millennials chasing after, like, looking at the game awards, being hyped up, being part of that ecosphere. Whereas the younger people seemed less they have like a whole different purview into the gaming world. They don't see news on YouTube. They look at other TikTokers to find games to play. Uh,
interesting.
do you,
Well, I,
yeah.
I cannot say for sure. I don't really watch Game Awards and everything like that. I
Mm.
don't think I chase like the big blockbuster games. To be honest, I kind of avoid them. Like I'm expecting that they will be all right at best. So I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever. Mm, where do my recommendations or ideas for what to play come? I think nowadays it's mostly whatever Steam might show me or whatever friends might tell me.
Aha. So I guess
Like
that
with
makes
Arc,
us millennial gamers, right? Like, we look at Steam charts and stuff.
yeah. Well, when Steam opens and you can go and see, okay, what's everyone buying now,
Yeah. You
and
know,
that's how I check out new games.
I thought you play new games based on what your friends are playing.
That as well. Maybe that's
Yeah.
even that's something that I do mostly.
I feel like that's the one last bastion of sanctity in gaming, is that the word of mouth really matters. Like, we're very inclined to try a game that our friends are playing. Whereas, if I recommend you a moisturizer or a VPN service, like, we don't care. But when it comes to a game, somehow we're inclined. Or
Yeah.
the biggest lie of our generation is, yo, did you watch the House of Dragons, or insert any big name shows? And then you say, oh yeah, I'll put it on my watch list, and then you'll never watch it. In fact,
Yeah,
all the shows
yeah.
my friends have recommended me without intention of avoiding them, I just don't end up watching them for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's normal. There's so many shows and everyone is watching their own thing. Whereas before, especially when we were little kids,
Yeah.
you would have TV, and so everyone watches whatever they're showing. So
Can you,
kind of miss that,
I do miss
like
that.
the
Like, the last
shared things.
I think the last time that has ever happened was Game of Thrones. After that,
Yeah, I think that it's considered like one of the last um, like things that were
yeah.
discussed like that.
And I think even after that, maybe a little bit of White Lotus, but it's not for everyone. Whereas, like, the medieval
Mm.
fantasy world of Game of Thrones is kind of like, oh, it's mass appeal. In video games, the last time this kind of movement happened, I think, was Helldivers, but that didn't last very long.
Mm. I don't know. Maybe it's just my bubble, but I feel like in gaming it happens still. Like for
Yeah,
example, with Arc Raiders, so suddenly at
true.
what point all my feed is filled with Arc Raiders. My friends are playing Arc Raiders. I'm like, okay, maybe it's a good game.
Hmm. I have heard some brief things about. So let's start with the the rumors, like, kind of like the surface things we've heard about each other's games. Okay, I'll start with Arc Raiders, and you can tell me what
Okay.
you've heard of Kingdom Come. So I watched like a few streamers, and then some people were kind of like really upset. Some of the streamers were very upset with where Helldivers was going, and so they switched over to play Arc Raiders a bit. But you know how like it's always difficult for YouTubers or streamers who are known for one game and they move on to the next game, the viewership dies down a lot, right? And
Ah.
and I hear that like there are people kind of upset about how the culture of Arc Raiders in Asia specifically, that everything kind of started PvE. It was possible to tell people like, "Hey, don't shoot me," but then
Mhm.
eventually it just evolved into this dire wasteland of people just killing you on sight, and then apparently it was very
Yeah.
frustrating for some players.
I've seen a similar thing like here in Europe.
Yeah,
I remember in the very beginning when I started to play, I played several solo matches, and for me the difference was if you play solo, then almost all the time everyone is really friendly. If you
hmm,
play in a group of friends,
right.
then it's like shoot on sight. Sometimes talk, but that's just a distraction to shoot you.
I see. Wait, is there like ambient voice chat so everybody can hear everybody?
Yeah, there's local. You press. Well, usually people by default it's said that you have to press a button to speak, and then it's the local proximity voice chat. So if
Right.
you're far away, you can tell where it's coming from, and if it's far away, yeah. So yeah, like that. If you're not in the same party, that's how you talk with each other.
Dude, the last time I played a game like that with an open world PvP, like free for all PvP, was Division, Tom Clancy's Division. And I remembered I was playing with a friend, and we constantly get killed by these like griefers slash campers. And then I don't know if they were cheating, but they just had the best weapon. It was all explosive weapons, and it just killed us instantaneously. And I was playing on a laptop, and then my friend was as well. We were very frustrated, so we resorted to a software called MorphVox, and we changed our voices to girls' voices, and then we practiced how to speak like cute Asian girls, and then suddenly nobody killed us. And then we had strangers helping us with like the PvP world bosses. They were just like, "Oh, let me get the health down to very low, and then you guys can finish off the boss and take all the loot." And then there were like literal people guarding our extraction, because once you've collected everything, you can go to extraction points, call for a helicopter. Oh my goodness, those are the best years of gaming. The gooning, the one thing you could rely on is how most players like to goon.
how long have you been doing that?
I only played the game for like a couple of months. It got really boring because there was just so
Uh,
many glitches, and I think
uh.
there was a lot of
I thought you were going to say
yeah.
it got really boring because everyone is helping me. There was no challenge.
No. You know what was boring for me? It was what was kind of like weighing down on me was that every time I logged on, I get 5 or 6 messages, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to do this raid together? Do you want to do this instance together?" And then at one point, I feel like I got into a relationship with a guy that I didn't even know I was part of, because he was really upset when I said, "Oh, I need to head out," like, I couldn't play with him. And then he was so upset he blocked me from his friend list. And I was just like,
My
wow, it
God,
was so
good
difficult being a
riddance.
gamer girl, man. I had so much, respect for gamer like female gamers now.
Crazy.
No.
I was wondering if it affected your in life behavior.
It
You
did,
started
because
to behave more girly or
we did,
something.
because I started using a lot of I started because in Chinese it's a the Chinese language is very kind of like contextual. It's similar to Russian in the sense that you could have a feminine way of speech. And
Hmm.
I was playing the game with my buddies from the army, so sometimes we would hang out again, like all of us get together for a meal and stuff. We would chat, and then the whole friend group was noticing that the both of us started speaking like women. And they were like, "What the fuck are you on about?" And then that's when I realized, oh fuck, I got in too deep. I was kind of like playing the edgy girl kind of personality, like I was not bad. Like I played naturally. I didn't pretend to be bad. I just played naturally. Um
Yeah.
And what I
And they're like,
found
"Oh, you play pretty good for a girl."
exactly, and then nobody said that, but they really loved what I found was that, hey, if I just come off dismissive and kind of like an edgy, cool girl vibe, that I don't, I don't pretend to be like one of those cute girls. Oh my god, can you help me? Like this and that, like being cute and stuff. I just decided to be like cool and dismissive, so like I didn't have to speak as often, and then the guys drank it up. Holy shit, they love that shit. They love a cool girl, a cool gamer girl. Oh my goodness. And
Yeah.
as if I didn't learn my lesson, I did this again in Overwatch. Holy shit. Yeah, that's when I realized that my days
Wait,
as an e-girl has to stop.
what, Overwatch is kinda like Team Fortress or,
Yeah,
just
yeah, it's a
old?
6v6 online, just purely PvP matches. And I decided to
I'm just
be
wondering where is there this, space for, being a girl and getting help? Well, I guess there's always
Well, the
this.
game is you're like when you get to like diamond and above, so you start at bronze, silver, gold, and most players get stuck at gold. Like we make fun of people like, oh, you're just a gold pleb. And then you get to diamond because like all Blizzard games have the same tiered system. And once you get to like master, which is like 10% of all the like all the player base,
Whoa.
it's very prestigious. It's very difficult to get there. And once you get to that rank, it's mandatory that you have your voice chat on. Like you are constantly communicating with the team. You're keeping track of enemy ultimates, and you're planning the fight.
Yeah.
So you do have to be on voice chat. And I was playing as an aggressive healer. Even though I was Mercy, which is like kind of like a female joke. Like people kind of joke about how if you play Mercy, all you do is heal your teammates and you fly around like a moth. But I would actively, I don't know why, like I take joy in just being like a weak healer that that all of a sudden I would show up in the enemy's faces and just blast them with a pistol and kill them. And then again, like the gamer boys love that. Holy shit, man. It was getting to a point where I felt like I was having too much attention from the guys, that I started spending more time perfecting my personality as a girl as opposed to like actually practicing the game. Um, because like people get salty and they fight all the time, right? And all of a sudden, if there is a female voice in the chat, all the guys become stoic and cool. Like they're like, "Oh, guys, let's not fight. Let's immediately." Like they would go from
Really?
yelling like things like, "Oh, you f word," like FAGDOT, right? And then the N word, like all these obscenities. And then the moment I speak, suddenly everybody's quiet and everybody started working together. It was so. Are we doomed as
Interesting.
men? Holy shit! But
Nah,
yeah,
I think this all existed way like a long time ago.
I guess so.
All these
Especially like in
behavioral
Counter Strike, maybe.
patterns. Mm. Whoa,
But
I just remembered. I remember when I was in school and I was like, I don't know, 10 or something. I spoke with a friend who was playing a game, like a massive MMORPG.
mhm.
I don't remember the name of the game, but he pretended to be a girl to get like nice loot. And then he said they had pretend sex through the chat as well.
What the
And he
hell?
was he was he was laughing at the guy,
Yeah,
but the guy apparently didn't know, like he didn't figure it out that
I
he's a girl.
mean,
And I mean, how
y-
could he? He didn't even speak. They were just chatting.
exactly right. And I feel like this is unironically a very a prevalent thing. We know that Andrew Tate, right? Him and his brothers, they used to pretend to be girls in a chat, and they would have like all these girls from Eastern Europe that they kidnapped, allegedly. I'm not making claims. Uh, to appear in front of the camera, right? But they themselves would be doing the baiting and texting, so they were like literally typing as a girl and getting men to jerk off on their cameras. And and somehow that's not gay. Like, I don't know.
Wait,
It's
but they did it for the money
yeah, they did it for the
or just
money.
because they?
And like I don't most people wouldn't have any problem with it besides the blatant scam, but these things happen everywhere. But they turn
Mm.
around and they talk about like the manosphere, they talk about what's it like to be how you should treat a woman, how you should be a man, how you shouldn't be gay and everything. But they themselves have done the gayest shit possible. Like, come on, baiting men to jack off to you. Come on. Um but yeah,
Well,
the other
I
thing,
think they just ride whatever is rideable, and oh,
yeah.
that sounds gay as well, but to make money.
I guess so. And the other thing that I've seen from Arc Raiders was that there are players using a glitch to get inside a vault, and then with the recent update, they made it so that if you glitched inside the vault, it would light you on fire. You would be you would be giving the World War II Jewish experience, basically.
Oh, I never used a glitch like that. I think
Hmm.
I saw a video. Um, I don't play that much, to be honest. Like,
Oh,
I only play when somebody is playing. I don't play alone because it's just not as fun. When you're together,
I
it's
guess
much
so.
better.
Yeah. That's my biggest
Uh,
gripe with these games. Like, if I can't play with friends, it's kind of pointless for me to get on.
That's how I play most of my games today. I check if my friends wants to play, and if they do, then it's like a green light. If nobody wants to play it with me, then I'm like, well, probably not.
No. Hmm.
All right,
What were
my
your
turn.
yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I played a little bit. Was it the first one or the second one? I think it was the first one. Yeah, yeah. I didn't play the second one. I played a little bit the first one.
Uh-huh.
When I had the Steam Deck, my friend had the game in his library, and we had a shared library, so I was able to get it.
Wait, you can do
Then
that?
at one point, it for some reason the sharing stopped,
Oh.
and I kind of never resumed.
You can
I
share
just
your
stopped playing.
libraries? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
What?
don't remember how it works. It was always a bit finicky, like in the sense that it would sometimes stop the sharing, and I don't know why. Like, I never
Oh.
got into it because I don't use it that much.
Do they have to be
But
online for this?
I don't remember. I remember
Oh.
there was a time where you could just give somebody's your account to somebody, and they could play as long as they're not playing the same game you're playing. It's fine.
Uh-huh. I know about like letting people join a local co-op game that you're playing, and you basically let them
Yeah,
connect to your game and play as the other co-op player, and it
yeah,
streams your
like
input.
remote couch playing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
That's nice, but that's different.
Yeah.
But anyways, my idea of Kingdom Come, actually, I think it's a cool game. I'm just not very much like inclined for medieval stuff for some reason.
Mm.
Like, I see the appeal, but it doesn't hook me for some
Really? Oh,
reason.
I mean,
Or like
the
sci-fi does, and
yeah.
for example, Elder Scrolls, like, I understand why people love it,
Mhm.
but for me, it just doesn't hook me at all. At the same time, something like Fallout New Vegas, I finished that game. I really liked it.
What
It's
about like Cyberpunk Worlds?
amazing. Yeah, that as well. I finished Cyberpunk.
Huh. Oh, I still need to play the DLC, the one with Idris Elba. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I didn't play it as well.
Hmm.
I got it, but I didn't play it. I actually finished Cyberpunk on Steam Deck.
Oh, it managed to run on Steam Deck?
Yeah, yeah, it was fine.
Wow, the
I mean,
game
it's
made
not
it
perfect, but
the game has come a long way from I remembered playing on release. My character was nude while I was riding the motorcycle, and the character's just in a T pose, and then it's just you see
yeah.
the flopping penis, and it's just in a T pose riding around, and I enjoyed that. But yeah, the Kingdom Come is very much an acquired taste. It's like it's very different. It certainly is very different. I was kind of upset that they didn't win much for the Game Awards, but apparently was it Expedition 33? Have you played that game?
No, I've heard about it, but I barely even saw anything about it.
Huh.
But apparently, people are. Is it only? Is it also on a single player, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But it's turn-based battles. I'm not really into that. I was never really into turn-based
Yeah, that as
strategy.
well.
But unlike you, I am equally kind of attracted to medieval fantasy and medieval worlds as much as I am to sci-fi. And my absolute kryptonite for games is futuristic apocalypse. So like an apocalyptic
Yeah,
future. And it's like, oh my goodness, I will just try that game. um, but yeah,
the same.
why don't you start telling me about Arc Raiders? What's it about? What's the fun in it? Like, is it cross-platform as well? Like, do you play with people on console?
It is crossplay, and let me try to remember and kind of relive my impressions. The first time I saw our creators was when they were not yet released. There was a video that kind of showed a glimpse of the gameplay, and already at that point, I felt like I really like how it sounds and looks. And then I learned that apparently the people that are involved in the development were previously working on Battlefield, and I could see that signature way they work with the sound and everything. And then kind of forgot about it when it came out. It kind of again appeared in my bubble. And then one of my friends started to play it a lot. Like he would play it every day for hours. And already at that point, I was interested. But the people that I was talking at that point with were not interested in that game. For some reason, they were hating on it because I guess they're like die-hard fans of Tarkov, and for them, this was like a casual game. But I didn't like Tarkov, so for
Mm-hmm.
me, that even kind of pushed me even closer to it. And then at one point, a friend of mine proposed that we play together the game, and that's how I got in. And yeah, it's very nice in the sense of how it makes me feel from the visuals and the sound and how it behaves and the movement. Uh,
So
like
is
I
it
feel like it's a
Tarkov-esque?
very well polished. No, I don't think so. I really like how the developers have polished it. Basically, I think it's very well made, like gameplay wise. Right, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like they focused that it's convenient and nice to play.
Uh-huh.
And then of course, another thing that was interesting is how people are some like a lot of the times they are friendly.
Yeah.
That was also kind of cool. But then when we started to play together with friends, I really like even the PvP battles because the game again is made. This is not realistic, I guess, but it's beneficial for the gameplay. It reminds me of Team Fortress in this sense. Me and my friend were discussing that we came to the conclusion that one thing that we really like about Team Fortress is that the fights there are actual fights. They're not quick. You have time to think. You have to think about your positioning. Well, of course, even in fast-paced games, that's all true. But like in Team Fortress, because there's not that many, it's not like Counter Strike, right? Where
Yeah.
you meet each other at the corner, bam, one shot, and it's over. Like it's split
Uh-huh.
second decisions and split second action. It has this appeal. I played Counter Strike for a long time, but I do agree with my friend that I really like when the battle is stretched out. And in the Team Fortress case, it was the case because all the hard hitting weapons, they're usually not hit scan weapons.
Uh-huh.
You have
So it's
soldiers
more
that shoot projectiles. It's like you see each other, but you can't kill each other instantly. You have
uh-huh.
to.
It's more role playing than
You,
tactical. Like you have
well,
time to
no,
heal.
no role playing. It's just that it's more like a fight. Like a hand-to-hand combat where
Oh.
it also doesn't finish in 1 second. You can dodge projectiles. You can try to predict where the other person is going to go. Like you're like in this little dance, right? It's
Mm.
not just a 1 second event. And Arc Raiders is somewhat similar in this because you can't. I don't think you can kill anyone with one shot. There are weapons that are really hard hitting, but usually it's something like you see someone, you have to really catch them in a very bad situation for it to be a really fast kill.
Can
Otherwise, if you're more or less on the middle ground with each other, like position-wise, usually it takes some time to find out who's going to win.
because when you kill someone, you first down them, right, and then they have a chance to be
Yeah,
revived.
that as well.
But what happened? Like, so are there? Because I know there's some very extensive iteming, where you need to, get the best loot, and then what happens if a player is like fully kitted out and you're just a newbie? Can they down you really fast?
Yeah, of course, they will kill you faster, and then they might have a better shield. I think like the first level of shields, let's
Hmm.
say, has 100 hit points. The second one, I think it's double. So you can feel it. Like they already like going through your main HP, and you're still down in their shield.
Okay, but
But they're
people can gank,
but they
right? You can have a bunch of
you mean like
friends.
group up?
Yeah, yeah. So the three of you as a newbie could easily down a well-kitted single player. Like he should be
Ah,
afraid.
um, yeah. But if you're playing together in like a party, you're going to be pitted against other parties.
Oh, okay. So in
I don't think you can
matchmaking.
encounter a single like solo players. Yeah, in matchmaking.
Oh, okay. So if you play solo, you basically don't run into teams, or like is it?
Yes.
How do they do this? Is it that because what's the size of the team? How large can it get?
3 people maximum.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So
So,
yeah, I feel
so
like this game.
what's the
What I like
gameplay
is that
loop
it's
like?
well thought through gameplay, and I think it's pretty well polished, and it just makes it a good, pleasant experience playing together with friends. There's this
So what's the
satisfying. Oh,
main?
and another feature, just a quick uh,
Yeah.
thing to mention, is that the bots that you kill, they're robots, and their movement is. Apparently, they even used like artificial neurons. Like basically, they train their bots to walk. It's not just an animation.
Oh,
It's actually physically walking, and the drones are physically flying. And if you take out their engines, it can still be alive. But if you take out, for example, both its rear engines, it won't be able to fly anymore. It will kind of fall down and blow up.
that's pretty cool. But so what's the gameplay loop? Like do you farm for stuff, and then is there an extraction in the end? Like what do you do throughout the game?
Exactly. It's
Oh,
basically an extraction shooter. You spawn on the map. Well, first of all, you prepare for the raid. You can either assemble your own, or there's an option for a free kit, which will give you a random free weapon, like of the like lowest tier, and some other items to use. Then you spawn on the map on some random start location, and you loot. You encounter players. You can kill them and rob their stuff. You can. There's like these, you could say, bosses, which are really big robots that sometimes people team up to get to down them. And then you have to extract. There are several points where you can do that. Some of them close earlier, some of them stay open until the last moment.
uh-huh.
Uh, and all this drives you to run around the map, and that creates different encounters.
I like that. It's kind of like it does have a framework, but it's still very sandboxy in the way you approach how you want to do this. Because
Yeah.
you could realistically group up in threes, and all you do is mess with PvE players. Like you look for them, they're trying to fight a boss, and then you go and kill them.
Yeah, yeah. The you can definitely do that.
Oh wow, that's so toxic. Imagine you're about to
Oh,
kill the boss, and then your whole team
and
gets wiped.
yeah, you have to be careful. You can. I remember when we started to play, maybe we were pitched to inexperienced players as well. So we were like, "Oh, look, a cool robot. Let's down it." And like we shoot it. It takes us like 5 minutes because you hide, you reload, you try to shoot its weak points, and we got it down, and it was like, "Oh, nice. This is not too hard." And we grabbed this loot, and it was fine. But then I feel like after several matches, at some point as like you start to try to bring down a more or less large robot that does like which takes time, and then you finish and you're already guarded by somebody else who's waiting for you to finish, and then they just shoot you
Oh, the
to get your
gatekeeping.
loot and and the robots. But you just have to be aware. You can still down big robots, but you just have to be careful, pick a good position so you cannot get like flanked from the rear or something. And then you can just shoot down the robot and kind of be careful to loot it. I remember when we were killing one of our first robots, I stayed on a separate building overlooking my friends, and whenever somebody came I would warn them and they were ready, and then if we felt like they're approaching too close I would start shooting them, and that would because they're expecting people to be down on the same level with them,
Yeah.
basically kind of in the open, but when they start getting shots from somewhere in the building they like run away because now they're in the open.
Uh-huh.
uh, so it's basically like covering really worked in that game.
Hmm. That's very realistic, I feel. So you really
Yeah,
need that
and
height
I think
advantage.
this is an extension of the way that the combat works because you like in Counter Strike, if you're really good at shooting, even if somebody has a really good position, you can just flick and kill easily.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was playing Airsoft, it doesn't really work like that. It's more like arc raiders in the sense of that where you are when you start to shoot, and especially if you see them and they don't know where you're at,
Mhm.
it's like 99% that you're gonna win because
Mhm.
that's the most important thing: the positioning and the tactical stuff, not them being able to quickly shoot you back.
Dude, I remembered playing a Counter-Strike-esque game called AVA, Alliance of Valiant Arms. We actually played that game a little bit in Bernard's room
I
back
remember
in.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were camping with your AK in the back. Um And I remembered playing that game in like a local tournament in one of the internet cafes. And there was this
Oh,
fat guy who leaned back on his chair, and then he was a sniper, and he had memorized the spawn position of the game mode, and he just flicks between, like, he would kill you, and then the moment you spawn he would already have his crosshairs aimed at you and immediately kills you
yeah,
again. Then you spawn in another position, he flicks to that. So he just memorized where you are, where you could respawn, and it's always like looping around several positions, so it's predictable. And I just couldn't touch
yeah.
I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. He killed me 18 times in a row, and I felt so sad.
My God,
But yeah, I
that's
like the tactical aspect.
that's
Like,
really bad gameplay design, I think.
oh yeah, but it's the hallmark of the olden day games. But so wait, so
Sure.
the you could guard a boss fight. But do you, like, where do you run into the bosses? Do you go and look for them? Are they marked on the map? Like, do other players know where the boss is?
Uh, they're not marked on the map, but you could say there's no actual boss. It's just the way I called them.
Mm.
There are regular bots that kind of just roam around the map, and they can easily be spawned in. And then there are bigger and bigger robots. Like there's also a robot called Rocketeer, which is kind of like a drone, but it's really big and it has a lot of armor and it shoots really powerful rockets. So you could say this is like the very first boss. It's not actually a boss. It's just that it's harder to kill and it has better loot. And then
Uh-huh.
there's walking robots. There's one with a minigun, another one which shoots mortars. They as well are very well armored, and if you're in a bad position and they start shooting at you, most likely you're not going to survive that.
Right.
Uh, and then there are even bigger boss that are like giant. You can like sometimes you can see them from like half of the positions on the map because they're literally the size of a building.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's very ambient. Like it's got that
Yeah,
shock factor.
and you can climb on them. Some people they jump on the robots. They put like a very hard hitting mine on them, and then they're on the way.
That's
Um,
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice. So that's what I meant by bosses. They're not actually bosses or events
Uh-huh.
that trigger. You just run into and usually the big ones they spawn in the same places. So
I
you
see.
kind of know where to look for them.
Hmm.
They walk around a little bit, but if you know where they spawn, you can come up there, and in 1 minute you will probably see and hear him before you even get there.
See, I liked everything I'm hearing so far, and the only thing that sort of puts me off is the the whole gameplay loop where you have to like drag everything in your inventory, like managing the inventory, swapping things out, throwing things away, using stuff and combining stuff, and that sort of takes me out of the battle. So what's that like in Arc Raiders?
Uh, I don't know if I got used to it. It's something that I didn't like as well, especially when I tried other extraction shooters, like you know, going through all the boxes in the building and collecting different stuff, and you don't know what you need to get. You don't know if this is actually valuable or not. These are just basically things you kind of have to learn. In Arc Raiders, I think it's easier because there's probably a bit less of stuff, and they're also marked if they're more valuable. But I cannot say I enjoy that much. I kind of do it because you have to. But
Hmm.
I'm not trying too hard to to super optimize what I'm carrying. I'm like, oh, this looks good. I'm going to grab it. Okay, maybe this is more expensive. I'm going to grab it. And you can also track items you need. So if you want to build something or you need to upgrade something, uh, you can track those items, and then when you find them in the game in the map, they're marked.
Uh-huh.
Um, Using your like quick use things is pretty convenient. You can cycle through the things that are on your quick use key. Uh, it's all right. It's not too bad. Like it's something that like, to be honest, I play the game for the encounters,
I
for
see, I
the
see.
nice fights with the bots, or when we even like teams of players are coming at us, you're able to handle them. That's the fun part for me. The
No.
crafting and everything, that kind of I do it because you kind of have to, but like
I see.
and maybe if it was not in the game, it would be worse even for me. But but I feel like if it wasn't in the game, at least at first, I wouldn't be disappointed. But I can see why they put it in. I think it has to be in there. Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong,
Because
but it's not something that I'm a
I
big
just feel
fan of.
like I have nightmares from playing Dark Souls and Elden Ring where there's a tech called quick swapping, and it's basically when the players that are very seasoned, they've gotten used to how to operate within the menu so fast that they could switch weapons mid combat. And when you're fighting them one on one, the implicit rule is that, oh, okay, maybe I have a claymore and they have maybe like a halberd, and I know their move set. They have long reach, they're slow, but they have powerful attacks, right? So you adapt to it. But the very good players will switch between like three to five I don't know how many weapons um mid combat. So you would see him charging at you, doing a forward thrust with a halberd, and then roll, and immediately he's holding a rapier, right? And then they're using that as like a, just using this quick swap technique, and then you start fighting them, and eventually you get their health down, and then they quick swap the entire armor set to give themselves like health regen, and even like prevent full damage when they're dropping off a cliff. And then it's just, oh, that's just so annoying. And I know that that's also possible in some of these Tarkov-esque games where you could very quickly craft something and use it. You could very quickly switch between different weapon types. But I don't know. That may be a like a small minority of the gamers that are that sweaty.
I can understand why you don't like that. That sounds just annoying. Like
Mhm.
I don't like things like this, or I also don't like when in the game the movement of the character doesn't have any inertia, so
Oh.
you can kind of n- jump around, strafe, and be all over the place.
Yeah, yeah.
And because of that, you cannot shoot the guy
Oh,
because
the annoying
his
movement
head
text.
moves around. Yeah, yeah. I don't like that. Like for
Yeah.
me, I get it that you need skill for this, but
Mhm.
it's just annoying for me. It's breaking, I guess, my immersion, or
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it does. It's just
like
kind of
I
like.
I don't I like I think I can get good at the game if I like it,
Mhm.
but I absolutely dislike this type of things. So I just don't want to even bother. Like it's a disappointment for me, and I don't want to continue to play because of that.
Right. Yeah, because I feel bad for the developers when things like this happen, where you have these minor, not bugs, but things that players can exploit, and it's usually only the sweatiest players are using it. And you don't want to take that tech away because it discourages people from getting really good and obsessed with your game. But on the other hand, it puts off the new players who are absolutely wrecked by all these quick swappers, as we call them in Dark Souls and Elden Ring. Hmm. That sounds like fun. I don't like the whole itemization, but if like you said, I won't be killed mid menu instantaneously. That seems a lot less problematic with me. Um,
I
'Cause
mean, the game it's nice in the sense that I also wanted to mention that, for example, if a player is downed, they shoot up a flare,
Mhm,
and there is a lot of things that are going on that kind of aware everyone else of what is going on in the map. So it's another thing I really like is that when you're running around doing your stuff, you
mhm.
can hear in the distance somebody shooting. You can hear
Yeah,
some of the bots making their cries.
right.
It all kind of brings the map alive because you don't see them, and they're far away. Like there's no way for you to engage with each other,
Yeah,
but you can hear each other, and
that's really cool.
that additional awareness, it only adds to the immersion for me. And
Mhm.
in the sense, you can. I was going to say that if you're in the menu, you're like picking loot, and somebody runs up to your bot, then probably you're going to die because that's a very disadvantageous position. But it's something that you can control. You can be careful. You can kind of
I
go into a
see.
room, stand still for a second. Even if they're crouching, you can still sometimes hear them, especially if they're close. So you can.
Mhm.
It's very much manageable to be aware of your surroundings.
Right. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. I would like to give the game a try.
It's like I'm it's like I'm selling the game.
Yeah, I guess that's what we're trying to do. Uh, and oh my goodness, it's difficult to get me to shut up about Kingdom Come Deliverance, but holy shit, I have so many good things to say about it. And I guess like a quick way to sum up what the game is like is that it really doesn't feel like playing a video game in a way. Like it really doesn't feel like playing a video game because it's the game touts itself as being accurate to history, which I have a problem with because it very much kind of like, it's trying to draw mass appeal to people. Like if you see an advertisement, you see battle, you see all the wenches you could romance, you see dancing with girls, um, stuff like that, right? Where in fact in the game, romance is a very small part of the game. And yes, you do a lot of battling, but there's really a big pause between everything. And even when you do like missions, when you do the quest, everything just drags on. And in the beginning, when I was especially playing the first game, I think that's where most players are put off because the first game is a lot more punishing, and the first game is a lot more of less, should I say, like it doesn't give you hints. It doesn't really tell you much. Like you actually have to listen to the NPCs as they speak, and they tell you about, okay, what I need you to do for this quest. And then I'm the kind of guy, like I speed through all the dialogues. I'm just so used to it. So it was a very
Yeah.
big learning curve. Like I played the game, I think last year, the first game. I played for a little bit. I got really frustrated, and I in the first game, like you need to run away from your hometown being sacked by the humans.
Yeah.
And I kept dying. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I was doing what it was telling me. I was riding on a horse and I was just running away. But these fucking humans, they would land every third shot on me, and I would just die. And I couldn't even get past that. I was so annoyed that I stopped playing. But then the
Oh.
second game came out, and then people were singing praises, and I was just like, what's so good about this game? So I played the game again, and I approach with a different mindset. I put on my gamer hat, and it brought me back to 2006, back when playing video games required you to go to your nearby convenience store and you pick up a book, and that book gives you all the best maxed out strat for approaching a game. It tells you what you need to do exactly and how you optimize this encounter. And especially for KCD, like it tells you all the consequences of your dialogue choices. Um, so so I picked up a book and I was playing a video game with my controller, and having a little book next to me telling me what to do. And once I started doing that, holy shit, like a whole world opened up to me. It felt like I was playing, it's like an interactive documentary as opposed to a video game.
Mm.
Um, so for those who don't know, the game is set in like late 1300s to early 1400s Bohemia, 20 years after the death of King Charles. I don't know if you remember this, but when we were in Czech Republic, we would see like homage to King Charles everywhere. He was a very beloved king, a very successful one at that, very known for his like diplomacy and his skill as a leader. And a lot of things were named after him, like Charles University. I don't know if that was in Prague or something,
Mm.
but the Kingdom of Bohemia has always been a very like big contested land because since the medieval ages it was temperate. You had access to to clean water and an abundance of natural resources, and more so than that, it's in kind of like on the trade route between the west and the east, right?
Mhm.
And when we were in splits, I think we learned that a lot of grandmothers in Czech Republic had at some point in their life became citizens of several, like seven different countries without moving, right? Like they've been a citizen to seven different passports. It was that goes on to show you how contested the land is. So you play as
Yeah.
Henry of Skalitz, and it's a silver mining town. So ancient like medieval Bohemia was very much known for its silver mines, its resources in like minting silver. Um, And the whole game basically takes you on a quest to sort of establish yourself in the conflict between King Wenceslas and King Sigismund. So they were the offsprings of King Charles, and then they did not measure up to their father, but they got into like really bitter fights. You have Wenceslas as the named heir to King Charles, but he was kind of, you know, drunken. He was always hunting, and he was quick to temper. And King Sigismund was his half brother, I believe. It was a bit more capable, but if you know anything about like Bohemian history, that you know that he was one of the key figures that brought the brutish Cumans, so the predecessors of the Ottomans, I suppose, these Turkish fighters, to Bohemia. And it very much is a cinematic story, but you have so many side quests in the first game that drove me into madness, because I would there would be a thing you need to do to like proceed the main quest, and when you get there, they're like, oh, there are poachers on my farm, you need to go do this and that. And then when you try to do that, it would tell you, okay, approach this NPC to ask about, to ask for some tool to help you with the poachers, for example. You go there, you get to the fucking NPC, and he's like, oh, I can't give you the tools because I need you to do this from this monastery. So then the next thing you know, you're like in a very nested quest list, and then somehow you have become a monk in a monastery. Um, and then the game is really hardcore with that, because it straight up, it just tells you, okay, you need to live as a monk. You need to do your fucking duties. But in the meantime, you also need to find out, the imposter. You need to find out where the spy is. And if you fail your monk duties, you could screw up the whole quest. And I guess that's why, like, I was first put off by the game, because I feel like I could have never completed it without an actual guide. But once you have the guide, it's pretty fun, because you could kind of like choose your own outcome. You could choose, okay, how I want to approach this. Like the second game was only this much fun. Was the second game was only as successful as it is because of all the groundwork that the first game built. And I feel like the IP would have never been this successful without the, like, you need to see it as a package. Like, you cannot really see Kingdom Come Deliverance as a separate game in the second game, because they took everything they learned from the first game, the complexities, and then they made it simpler in the second game to make it slightly easier.
Mm.
The quests are a lot less, cryptic. You have a bit more guidance, but it still maintains the freedom in the first game. And there's just a lot of fun stuff you can do. There's just so many like games within games. The smithing, like the making of potions, things that I would have never really touched in like Skyrim or any of the Ubisoft games. It felt like chores in those games, but in Kingdom Come, like they really make you work for it. Like you're actually cooking a fucking potion, right? Um,
Yeah.
and the game is just it's so difficult to describe that. It's fun because it's boring, because it doesn't try to
Mm.
coast you from entertainment to entertainment. If you play a lot of the single player driven games in the modern era, anything released by EA, by Ubisoft, it's like, oh, okay, you hit this, this mark in this story, it takes you to another thing, and it's just action, 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 action. But in this game,
Yeah.
it could take you days. Like, you would be like, oh, you need to go rescue your lord. You need to go rescue your lord in a castle far away. But you could spend like in-game weeks in another town trying to solve a crime, trying to solve a crime committed by a weird Polish guy who cuckolded somebody else's husband. And it's just it I feel like it's the boring nature of it. Like, it makes you want to slow down and really enjoy the game as is. Um, but the game had a lot of I feel like I'm about to rant, because the game had a lot of controversies, because of in the second game you're able to like romance one of the not one of, there's only one male character that you can romance, and people were very upset. They were like, there is no such thing as gay knights. Oh, And then it's like, oh, it ruined the game. But, and then the one of the developers was part of the apparently the Gamergate scandal, which is something to do with females and then like some misogynistic views and whatnot. And then
Mhm.
there were people complaining, oh, why are there no like diverse people in the kingdom of Bohemia? It's just like it's 14th century Bohemia. Do you expect to see Asian girls in your town? Um, but
I
yeah,
think I've heard about this one.
right? And then like the gay thing was really upsetting, even though it was unironically the best romance option you could choose. Because most of the female characters were kind of like one off. You just run into them in a side quest and stuff like that. Um, but the male romance option is actually with a character that has been with you since the first game, and he was always like he was very much involved in the main storyline. And it's done so very naturally, very like it's if you don't really pay attention to your quest dialogues, you could miss all of your romance options. Like none of the characters would be romanceable to you. But if you do like interact carefully, then you would open up some romantic options. But I thought like a lot of people praised it because the voice acting was amazing. The performance was sublime. Like holy shit, the stuff that you go through with this with your band of like merry outcast, so to speak. And then in the second game, like people were really excited because you get to you get to go on like well, you get to be part of Zhishka's group. Do you know Zhishka, Jan Zhishka? Have you heard of it?
No.
So Jan Žižka, very, very important figure of the Hussite Wars. Do you know the Hussite Jan Hus, like the Hussite Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically they were the you could argue is the predecessors to Protestantism. So one of the main challenges to Catholicism. So it's a huge deal. He was kind of like a hero in in Czech folklore, I guess. But it's
Mhm.
just so cool to be meeting these historical figures. And then if you look up on the paintings of these characters, they were very close to what they were depicted in history. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, there is some drama surrounding the game, and then people were just upset about the whole gay thing, which I'm really upset because there's people in medieval Europe be fucking gay, okay? There's something about the sexuality back then that is really funny and very difficult for us to comprehend. So first of all, what do you think makes a beautiful medieval woman? What were their beauty
Hmm.
standards?
Well, the first thing, to be honest, I don't know, but the first thing that came to my mind was I feel like in the past, not only in Europe but in many places, uh, being chubby, like being a
Mhm,
bit hefty, was
mhm.
actually seen very positively.
Yeah, that was in fact a also the case in dynastic China at one point, like really big, not even chubby, like in certain parts of Chinese history, the most beautiful women were like obese. Like I'm talking Tennessee, Arizona obese. Okay, but yeah, a medieval woman is considered to be beautiful when they have pale skin, bulbous head, very far receding hairline. They're almost fucking bald, So much so that girls would
Mhm.
pluck the hair on their forehead just to make the forehead higher. And they
Mhm.
also have big dark eyes, brown hair, I think, small rosy cheeks, and then they should have a little bit of fat above the belly, like to have a bit of a pot belly, so to speak.
Mhm.
Wide hips. I don't know if the ass has to be curvy or not. But yeah, like a gorgeous girl in the medieval times would not sell in the modern in the modern day sense. Um, and then you have these people
Yeah.
complaining about the gay stuff. But the gay stuff actually made a lot more sense because in medieval Europe, men it was a very, Catholic driven world, and people were very misogynistic. So the roles of men and women were kind of almost reversed compared to what we have nowadays. So how would you describe a an absolute Chad nowadays in today's world?
Uh, well, um, being here a little bit ironic, I guess, but something like buff, rich, commanding. Yeah.
Uh, Many female partners or just one?
I guess many. Yeah.
Mm. Well, what would be the ideal woman?
Uh, a buff, joking. Well, I guess it's kind of like the opposite, right?
Yeah, so in
Cute.
demure, like chaste, right? We value chastity. A girl is very attractive to the majority of men out there if she is chaste, unfortunately.
Mhm.
In which is kind of crazy that that still existed in my parents' generation. Um, but in the medieval times, men were seen to be you want to be stoic, you want to be disciplined, and you have vigor. Men are described to be dry and logical. I don't know why dry, but women were described to be these illogical, emotional, and really wet and very weak creatures that need the rigor of men to make them whole. So that's a very nice way to say that they need the men to nut inside them to make them healthy again. Um, mm. So so this does not apply to noble women. We know a lot about noble women. Noble women ought to be chaste, like what we would describe like the ideal girl nowadays. But the average peasant, the average daughters of burghers, of craftsmen, of farmers, there were not really any stern like societal norms for them to comply with. So I guess for a lack of a better word, it was okay for them to be kind of slutty. You know, the
Mhm.
the idea is that they would bed many fellows, and the idea is that for men to sleep with a woman, if you don't procreate, if you don't have sex with the intention of having a kid, it's condemned as sodomy, right? So sodomy in the past actually refers to any sexual activities that does not result in a child. So uh
Mhm.
so a woman giving you a blowjob at a drunken tavern in the middle of the night is as terrible as you cream pieing a young twink who has daddy issues. Right. So there's no concept of, oh, homosexual as a sin. It's all the same. It's all kind of terrible. So men ought
Yeah.
to, so as a good man, you want to find a woman of equal value. And if you do nut inside them, you ought to marry them because you don't want to be, you don't want to commit sodomy. You don't want to have a bunch of children, have a bunch of bastards, so to speak. It's kind of tarnishing to your name.
Yeah.
Whereas for the average women, you want to sleep with many men, hoping that once you get pregnant, you can lock them down. And ideally, you want to do this with men of higher stature, higher status, and that would then raise you out of your social class. So
Yeah.
women be on the prowl. Men got to be careful. They cannot just give their nut to anyone. Um, yeah, it's true. So men actually were more kind of like playing the submissive, sort of like demure side of the gender balance. And if you're like a knight,
Ah, interesting.
if you're somebody with status, you would rather uh sleep with foreign boys. This sounds weird to say, but you would rather sleep with foreign boys or other men. Um, because you couldn't get them pregnant, right? So
Mhm.
it's just annoying that some players kind of like ignore history and they're just like, oh, there's no such thing as gay knights, where in fact there is a lot of gay knights in Europe, in Asia, in Middle East, and you would not expect this, but monasteries and nunneries where there were just a bunch of men and a bunch of women, living together, holy shit, they be having the gayest sex ever. Like nuns would get together. They would call each other like, oh, little birds, and they would have an orgy in Jesus's name. Right. So much so that the Catholic Church back then would have to kind of like coast them, would kind of have to warn them, be like, okay, can you please stop doing this? You know, because in monasteries you would find men sleeping together in the same bed. Um, just having all kinds of spit roasting, I guess. Um, so much so that it was much later, I
Interesting.
think, in the 15th century, I think, and it's in Italy of all places where they start to kind of have official rules from the church to tell you that, hey guys, stop with this gay shit. If I catch you having sex with another man or having sex with another woman, uh, keyword, if I catch you, you will be fined. And you will be you have 6 chances. So if you get fined, maybe it's like 10 lira the first time, and then second time 15 lira, and then 20 lira, and then up until the 6th time, if I still catch you, it's like, "Oh, why won't you stop sucking his dick?" Then you'll be executed. But even then, like even then, if you were caught the 6th time having, just having dirty sex, um you could still flee, right? A lot of people did back in the day is that if they were caught doing sodomy, so again, like it's equally egregious getting a hand job, and or fucking a farm boy that you found on the farm, and you just felt like, oh, he has a nice ass, so you fucked him. It's equally bad. So the worst thing, so when that happens, if you do get caught 6 times, you could still flee. You could still like go to another town, like change your name, and then just away from stuff. So like even the Catholic Church's attitude towards it was like, you can do it, but don't let me see it. Don't get caught. And otherwise, they could have just
Yeah.
executed you on the first try, right? Like you don't get 6 chances. What the fuck is this? You're only gay up to the 6th time. But but yeah, I thought this was very interesting. So the game doesn't really lean too much into that. So you do have like female characters that you can have sex with. You have the bath maidens that you can have sex with. This is true. Back in the day, there were these bath houses that you could have sex with the girls there. But again, you do put your reputation on the line unless you're kind of like a scoundrel. You don't really have any name, don't really have any status to your name. You could have sex with multiple female partners, but it was generally frowned upon. And most women wouldn't be interested in having sex with you anyway. They're interested in the gay boys because those are the ones that have status. Um, but yeah, it's a very nice purview into history, and it was also during the time of the Black Death, I think, the bubonic plague. Um,
Yeah.
if you really tried out the first game, it would put you off. Like I would recommend that you do need some kind of guide. You do need like another screen telling you what you should do. But the second game is a lot easier to go naturally. And it's just, oh my goodness, the combat was fun, realistic, and interesting. If you get swarmed by 2 or more enemies, you're fucking dead. Like it's just not even a comparison. And if you don't wear armor like I did, I'm just a gay millennial slut trying to embrace my blacksmith fantasy because Henry of Skalitz is a son of blacksmith. So I played the game walking around naked, but with only blacksmith apron. And I keep getting one shot by enemies, and I was just, well, what's happening? So it turns out you do
Mhm.
need a full set of armor to not be one shot. It's too realistic in that sense. But
Yeah.
yeah, other than that, it's just it's a game that kind of like left me speechless at the end, having gone through like the whole plot. The acting was, like I said, it was just exemplary. Oh my goodness. And it's a game that you could really get lost in. I think it took me 2 weeks of playing the game to even finish it, and I haven't even done most of the side quests. But it's so much fun. Like honestly, it's something that you wouldn't want to. It's not, it's a single player game, so it's something like you, after a long day, you're sort of winding down, you kind of jump into the game and just pretend to be something, I guess. But it's a lot of fun, and Yeah, I'm
Watch
kind of
the
upset
show.
they didn't win Game of the Year, which is kind of crazy.
It does. This sounds like a very nice game. You definitely sold it to me. I kind of want to try it now.
If anything, you could always like not bother yourself too much with the side quest. Just there's usually like these guides on online that takes you through like the essential quest. So so they make you do enough quest to help you understand the nuance to help you kind of make sense of many of the cutscenes you're going to run into. I feel like the first game is a lot slower, but the second game definitely picks up faster. And holy shit, the cutscenes are so good. It's they invested a lot of money into like the acting. And
Hmm.
you would learn a lot about like siege warfare, and then how the the sort of the depressing thing about warfare back in the day wasn't even the fighting. It was being sieged and being hungry, like not having food, not having hygiene. You're just sort of trapped in there. And it really depicts
Yeah,
that in a very true fashion. And I think, yeah, it's super fun. Definitely try it out. Oh my goodness. Oh,
sounds so good.
I feel like I rambled for half an hour. I'm so sorry.
It's okay, but it was a good ramble. You have a talent of telling stories, so
Ooh.
you shouldn't be worried.
But yeah, definitely try the game
The
and
game sounds really good.
yeah,
Mm.
be a gay knight. But yeah, oh my
And I, I,
goodness.
I I wonder, is it okay to start with the second one and then do the first one?
You could, but the second game just is a direct follow up from it picks up from where the first game ends.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I would recommend to play the first game first, and then because the first game it does have a lot. Like, try not to play it with the DLCs because you might be confused and you start doing the DLC quest. But
Mm.
otherwise, like the first game wasn't that. It wasn't too difficult. It was just a lot of like nested quests. And get used to saving. A lot of saving. You need to save. It's called save scumming. And then you can try
Yeah.
out different things. Like, it's pretty funny. Like, I had to play like the second game I played through as a weird scholar who killed everyone, and then at some point, the game it was so weird because I was fascinated with the crayfish that you can find in the ponds in like any near any ponds or any lakes. And I was just like, oh, there's a
Mhm.
crayfish. And then at one point, because I was bleeding out because I was hurt by a fucking wolf, and I was just picking up crayfish. And then I picked up one crayfish, it killed me, and then the game just said, "Congratulations, you're one of the few people to ever die to a crayfish." It was such bullshit, but that was like I like this kind of weird, niche, little things that developers
Yeah.
put in.
Is it because it snipped your finger and
It
you
did,
had to
yeah.
really low
It
HP?
pinched you. Yeah, it pinched me and I died. It's such
Lol.
bullshit. But yeah, it's fun. Oh my goodness, it's been an hour. Should we I guess should we conclude the episode? Oh my
I
god.
think we have to.
I run my mouth. But yeah, definitely try out the game if you guys are interested. And Arc Raiders, definitely try it with your friends. I do want to play with my friends, so I'm gonna try. You said crossplay is
Get
available,
it and we
right?
can play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, something I noticed is that I don't know why, but for example, when I was playing Helldivers with my friend who who's in Europe, if I connect to him on the PC, my ping is terrible. Like, I would just lag so terribly connecting from
Mm.
Asia. But he started playing the game on PS5. And for some reason, when I connect to him while he's on PlayStation Network, my ping was like just like shy of 100. It's crazy. I don't know how this magic works.
Hmm. Interesting.
How's that
I also
possible?
wonder. Maybe
But
the
yeah,
servers are closer or something.
yeah, so I'm hoping that if I can crossplay with my friends on PlayStation, excuse me, it would really reduce the ping. So I'll definitely try that.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I think to test.
Yeah,
But
right.
actually, I've heard a different thing with art creators that apparently
Hmm.
playing crossplay increases your ping a little bit. But I didn't notice it when we were playing with a friend who has a PS5.
Is it a is it a it's a you're connected to dedicated service, right? Or are you connected to it has to be dedicated service because it's it's open and it's free and many people join at once. So I guess it's not peer to peer.
Yeah, I think
Hmm.
so.
I wonder how that would change things. But yeah, do you have any finishing thoughts?
I don't think so. No,
Okay, cool, guys.
we should play together.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We should get Benny in on the action. I think it'll be funny as well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. You can find us on Spotify
Thank you,
as well.
everyone.
Yeah, leave a like, and if you want to see more kind of like behind the scenes content, we have some of our conversations on Patreon. So do check it out. Other than
Where
that,
we shame you.
yeah. Other than that, goodbye, goodbye.
Goodbye.